This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Bruchim Abayim. We continue in the Orchos Chaim of the Rosh. A shir is so much better when you could actually hear it, no? Ois Lamed, the Rosh, Ois Lamed. Da es Elokei Avicha. Know the God of your father. This comes from the pasuk in Divrei Hayamim, Aleph, Parak Chav Ches, pasuk Tes. David HaMelech warns his son Shlomo, V'ata Shlomo b'ni, and you Shlomo my son, Da es Elokei Avicha, know the God of your father, V'yavdehu, serve him b'leiv shalem, wholeheartedly, v'nefesh chafetza, with a desirous nefesh, Kichol levavois doiresh Hashem, all hearts God seeks out, V'chol yetzer machshavois maven, and all inclinations of thoughts Hashem understands. What does it mean, know the God of your father? What that means is, even if we have an emunah in our Messiah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the creator, nevertheless we need to develop that and add to that and progress it. Where aside from the fact that we have emunah based on our Messiah, we also have to develop emunah based on the tradition, based on our own understanding. The Rambam writes in Parak Aleph of Hilchos Yisodei HaTorah Halacha Aleph that the foundation of all foundations, the principle of all principles, the pillar upon which everything stands, is that there is a entity that existed first who is responsible for all matter that exists. And that's something that, aside from one's Messiah, one has to develop that conviction on their own. And the Rosh is saying, know the God of your father, meaning one has to have their own independent, internal belief and conviction in the existence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Udvarecha b'moiznei tzedek tishkol. And therefore your words on the scales of righteousness you should weigh. Namely, only someone who has a certain independent and internal yiras Hashem and belief in Hashem will be able to weigh every word they say with a cheshbon, with a recognition that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is taking into account and weighing and evaluating every word we say. So in order for a person's word to be b'cheshbon, one has to have the Da Elokei Avicha. And v'hin sedek yelecha, you need to have a righteous hin, like the Gemara Darshans above Metzia. Your yes should be righteous. In other words, aside from weighing your words, that they're not sheker, you have to make sure, in other words, besides weighing your words, that they be honest, but even if they were honest at the time, you have to make sure that they're fulfilled later. V'yakel be'einecha ha'itzoas mamoincha me'itzoas dvarecha. It should be easier for a person to spend money than to say words. You know, people are very oiskecheshen when it comes to money. There's an appeal, should I give $18, should I give $36? And you're weighing back and forth and they can't sleep at night. What's the big deal? It's just another $18. No, it's not easy to spend extra money. It should be easier to spend money than to spend words. And then the Rosh says, Upicha al yemaher lohoitzi davara. Your mouth, you should not hasten to say something bad, ad asher tishkoleo b'moiznei sechlecha, until you weigh it on the scales of your seichel. Reb Zolti in his Makar Chaim on the Orchos Chaim, he brings from that in Kelm, in the Girsa of the Altar of Kelm, they would say, V'al toitzi davar ad. Don't say something until you weigh it on the scales of Seichel. This was also the Girsa and the Marganisa Tava on the end of the Avas Chesed. But he asks, well, that's repetitious. The Rosh just said that you should dvarcha b'moiznei tzedek tishkal. So you should weigh your words on the scale. So what is he adding? And don't say a word, don't emit a word until you weigh it on the scale. So the Reb Zolti says, what he means here is even in a case where you need to say certain words, like Chazal say you should be zroik mara b'talmidim, one has to inspire certain reverence in their talmidim, even when these are words you have to say. And this is sort of using the chelek hara of dibur, because one would have to speak a little bit harshly. Still, it requires extra conscientiousness and carefulness in the way it's said. This is also mashma in the way the Targum of Tosfos Yom Tov translates these words of the Rosh, where the Tosfos Yom Tov says, Al temaher loimer afilu mila kasha achas. Don't hasten to say even one harsh word, even if it has a need, unless you weigh it well in the scales of your seichel. Rav Goldberg offers another suggestion, that it's going on where, let's say, somebody embarrasses a person, where the Sefer HaChinuch says the Torah does not expect a person to be like a silent rock, and even if you have to answer the person who insults you, the Chacham, it is fitting for them to respond in a pleasant way, not to be angry. Ki kas b'chek ksilam yanuach. So this is referring to a certain scenario where, let's say, a person feels they have to respond, or the like, where one should weigh their words with an extra degree of carefulness. Okay, we're going to hold it over here, Rabbi Isai, and Be'ezus Hashem, next Monday we'll pick it up in Ois Lamed Aleph. Wishing everyone a wonderful night. Tonight, 8:30, be there or be square. The shir tonight is the Damascus Affair, the Meet Sir Moses Montefiore, Part 1. And hope to see everybody. Be'ezus Hashem, have a wonderful rest of the week. Bracha v'atzlacha, v'kol tov tamid.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.